Meet Dr. Nicole Green with Inspiration Nation LLC and the Club B Learning Labs.
I want to introduce myself as Angela Thompson, and I am the owner and founder of Archangel Enterprises. And I have known Nicole for quite some time. As a matter of fact, our daughters are first cousins. And so we've been knowing each other for a very long time. And one thing I want to share is that she is a very passionate, purposeful person that always makes an impact. She's very loving and she has a heart to serve. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Nicole, so that you can tell us where you are on your journey.
Wow. So I just retired in January as an educator for 30 years in Maryland Public School System. So it was time to move on and do some impactful work in the community. And I have been establishing programs. So my company is called Inspiration Nation is our big name. Our trade name is Club B Learning Labs. And I just came from a program today. So I go out into the community and schools and partner with them to offer educational, college and career planning, social emotional learning with children from preschool all the way up through high school. So we are recruiting mentors and just working with those students that need us most, those our homeless students, our foster care students, and any students who just want to grow and just want to say, I'm not sure about what I want to do. Parents that say my child is not quite ready for high school. The pandemic affected a lot of children and parents feel they're socially, emotionally behind, educationally behind. So we are just there to give them that boost and that push in a very loving, nurturing way through our programs.
That is awesome. That is so needed, especially now when every time we turn on the news, it's something that is very difficult even for adults to deal with. And then, our kids or the folks that are in our circle see the anxiety that we have and they've got their own issues and then things bubble up. And so you're helping them to navigate through some very troubling times or just what it is to be a teenager, right? In this world, things have changed with the introduction of social media and all of that. And so, as they start to tiptoe out from their comfort zone, wherever it happens to be, into the world beyond high school, you're really there to help to guide them through that. I know once upon a time your background is in counseling. I mean, you have served the community well in terms of counseling the kids prior to your retirement. Tell us a little bit about that and then what led you to this purposeful passion that you have right now.
Well, I was a school counselor for 17 years. So a lot of what I do is still school counseling. I do social emotional lessons, helping students to manage anger, stress, anxiety. I had a situation where it was a fifth grader who bought an vape. Well, they get these things from home. I mean, some environments are, that's where they see it. They see it in their environment, their parents, their community. We need some parenting programs. So I am just about to start several parenting programs with the school system. Parent workshops, parent talks, we call it Parent Club. It is just a way to talk about those tough issues and to give them some tools, help them to sometimes just vent, sometimes just talking about it is so helpful, and to know you're not alone, that other parents are going through these things too with their little ones, to our teens. So I am always a counselor, always ready to listen, help people problem solve. I still teach at the university level and train school counselors. That is my passion. I believe that they're the heart of the school. They make a world of difference. And I think the world is just catching up with, we need all these supports in schools, social workers, school counselors, mentors. We just need more in our schools to help our children because they're impacted by so much. And even our teachers. I had Head Start program say, we're seeing behaviors we've never seen before, and our teachers are not trained to deal with these behaviors. Can you come? I'm like, absolutely, I can come. So even just training them to work with our needy populations of parents and students has been the journey now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
What do you think is the root cause of this surge in the need that we currently have at the different levels?
I think the pandemic is one. I think there is a different style of parenting now. And it's not really a good or bad, because no one style works for one family or one child. You can have two different children and parent them totally different just based on their personality and needs. You don't get a manual. And a lot of people are so busy focused on careers, being career driven, that they're not even connecting with their children on a regular basis. Just that they're in the car and I'm your chauffeur, or they're at the dinner table on their phones, on their tablets. It's not about connection the way it was 20 years ago. Like everything's away, it's dinner time, we sit down, we have a conversation. That's not happening in our society. It's a digital world. And so a lot of the problems stem from our children being raised with technology, which can be a two-edged sword, right? It's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because it stops us from making the connections that we need to do. The listening skills, the attentiveness, the focus, and the eye contact. We're always here, we're always looking down and we're not making the connections that we need. And the parents, the program that I went to yesterday, they were like, they have no routines. They just don't have a regular schedule, so now the children are coming into school and they're not used to any type of structure. Because they've been allowed to watch TV, be on their phone, be on a tablet. And when you tell them, well, now it's time to sit down and have a conversation, to do some work, paper, pencil, they're like rebelling against that structure early. Media is fast paced. You keep scrolling, you flip, it's fast paced. Your mind is always going. But when you have to really sit down and talk and think, they're not getting those skills, those communication skills, that connection, that empathy. They're not getting it from a tablet or TV.
I see that too. And I see that is also prevalent in adult type of communication as well. What you're doing with the parent, I see it as a great need, whether you're a parent or not. Say, for instance, I have a group and I just say, I want you to come in and work with these adults to help us to communicate better, whether it be, my colleagues, my peers, my job, my staff, the other consultants. I think that if we as adults learn the skills, then we can pass that down to our kids and they could see us and repeat the process. Right now, they're repeating us with our heads down and our devices and not communicating well, and so can you tailor the service that you have for adult learners or just adults wanting to communicate better?
Absolutely. It is really for these type of skills and tools we all need. And some of us have them because we weren't born in a digital age. We've just adapted to our surroundings. Yes, all of our programs are tailored. I go in and I usually observe. I observe the adult, I observe the children, I observe interactions, and then I say, okay, these are the things that we need to address. And a lot of times they don't even realize it because they are just in a habit of working, of doing things a different way, their way, and thinking differently. Is like, oh, I didn't realize I did that, 20 times, or I looked at my phone when I was supposed to be engaging with you. So it is just reminders and just tools and being intentional. It really is. It's just about being intentional.
I like that. And to what extent do you think our environment plays a part in how we connect or disconnect with one another, or just with whatever task is at hand? Whether it be in the environment that may be contributing to our overall health, mentally and physically, or the environment that we hear coming from the TV or the radio or other people or the news, right? So how does that play a part in terms of our emotional well-being and how we cope with it all?
It's huge. Environment is everything. We have a whole lot around learning how to deal with people that have dealt with trauma and ACEs, those adverse childhood experiences, because we are realizing not only is it an impact now, and it may be temporary, where especially as adults, like we got to finish, we got goals, we got things we have to do, we can put that to aside. But what the studies are finding is it's affecting our physical health. So the high blood pressure comes, the heart issues come, the overeating comes. And so you can put things on the back burner. That's why I love working with children. I'm like, they don't have all that baggage yet. So, but it does catch up with you in other ways, whether it's ulcers or whatever's going on in your body. And we have a tendency not to listen to our bodies when they are screaming, help, I need you to eat healthier. I need you to exercise. I need you to, get out of the environment of work or a stressful relationship, or even our jobs can be very toxic, and we don't realize we're able to cope with them, but we're not healthy in it, if that makes sense. We're not
That makes a lot of
healthy in
sense.
the environment. We're just coping and kind of band-aiding the situation, but 10 years down the road, what's that going to look like? What's that look like for the child? What's that look like for the adult? And for adults, it really does come with a lot of health issues and challenges. It affects your whole immune system, your brain. It's all affected at some point. So you can't put it off forever.
I love that. Do you feel like we have kind of divested from or against self-care? Are people still investing versus divesting in self-care?
I try to practice what I preach, but I think that we are really focused on things that are not going to bring us the best benefits in a lot of ways. But I do teach especially those in the service profession working with children. If you, or healthcare professionals say it all the time. If you can't take care of you, you're not going to be available or able to take care of other people. So you have to put you first. Just like when you go on an airplane, what do they say? You got to put your mask on first, get your oxygen before you can help anyone else. And but I don't think we regularly do that or see the benefit in it. And it is about habits. It's really about one of the books that I love teaching from is Stephen Covey. And it's all about your habits. What habits are you willing to put in place? What bad habits do you have that you need to replace and change? But it starts with awareness. And I think that you do have to be very self-reflective first to know that self-care is got to be your top priority. It's not always about money or status or the next position or next promotion, because you're not going to be able to enjoy it if you don't put yourself first and your health first.
That is so important. Thank you so much for that. My last question is this, before we get into how to reach out to you, in terms of, how you have personal trainers. We invest in that for our, health and, fitness. But what about personal trainers in terms of what you offer? Maybe people aren't as comfortable in a group setting. Do you offer those types of services?
I do. Actually, so I do one-on-one with parents and anyone that wants to grow, really. I do groups, but I also do one-on-one. Some people are not ready for a group. And I'd say that about children going up to my teens or adults. If you can't connect in the group because of some things that are going on with you, or don't even work well in a group, let's just be honest. Some people don't work well in a group. And so they need that one-on-one attention until they can migrate and adapt in a group. And sometimes that takes time to work on self first and have that personal coaching first before they can go into a group setting. Because what happens in a group setting is they do more harm than good. If they're toxic, if they're angry, if they're bitter about things, they don't bring the group anything healthy. So you gotta work on you first.
Okay. And what area do you primarily serve? Is it everywhere in the Washington, D.C. area, or is it Montgomery County? Where is your service area?
So I'm based in Calvert County, and when I retired, so I worked in Prince George's for half my career, and I worked in Anne Arundel for the other half. But my goal really was to work where I live, which is the Tri-County. So you can't say Calvert without St. Mary's and Charles. You just got to say Tri-County. So I have been intentional about starting here and really breaking ground here, because they don't think we have the needs that they do. Because we're more affluent, or we're smaller, or we're more rural, whatever the ideals are. And even just meeting with the superintendent last week, they're taking money out of our county and putting it in other counties. Why? Because we're not being truthful with the numbers. The numbers of homeless, the number of needs, the number of, services that we really need. We look good on paper, but they are still hurting people. So the Tri-County is first, but I also have services in Anne Arundel, Montgomery, and Prince George's, I'm gonna get back to. That's home for me. So and it will always be home for me. And I can reach out early, easy for that. And when I first started my business, they were like, "Yeah, come." And I was like, "Yeah, I want to come, but I need to start here." And even though it's been a journey with getting known and for who I am and what I offer, based not based on, well, I know you, I know Dr. Green, I know she's great, I just said, I got to make a name here because I know it's needed. It's so much we don't have in the Tri-County that we need. So that is my love and passion right now, but I go anywhere. I go anywhere and serve anyone. I had a principal ask me, she's like, I really need a staff development. You have any ideas? I'm in DC. You come to DC? I'm like, I come to DC. I love it. My life. So, yes. And I just threw out some ideas, and one of them was, one of my big topics is emotional intelligence, and she wanted that for her staff. So I think that's just foundation for everything, just being emotionally intelligent. We can have all the intelligence in the world, but if we can't emotionally connect and be self-manage ourselves, we are doing it no one else any good.
I love that. And so whoever tunes into this recording, if they happen to be even in a different state, if the services can be made virtual, do you have any restrictions that would prevent you from helping them as well?
No, we do virtual, we do hybrid, we get on Zoom, and I think it can be just as effective as being in person. Maybe not as much for younger ones. There are some programs we haven't done our online program with younger ones yet, just because they are coming off the pandemic, and a lot of them did not do well with being able to be focused, that they need that hands-on touch right now. But adults, I think, are good for virtual learning. I do Google Classrooms where it can be self-paced, as well as virtual meetings where we can follow up and talk about what you got out of the lesson, and to help you brainstorm and problem solve whatever you're going through.
So if folks wanted to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So our website, we're on social media, all social media, is Club B Learning, and our website is www.myclubblearning.com.
Thank you so much. You are amazing. I just love you. And for anyone that's tuned in, I highly encourage you to reach out to Dr. Green, if nothing more than just to check on the health of where you are and the people that are around you, the groups that you're involved with, because communication is the key to everything. It's like the more we practice, the better we are, and the better communicators we are, the more impact we can make. So thank you, Dr. Green. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.